Hi everyone, I hope you're well. It has now been over a week already since we were all together online talking about executive presence, influence, and visibility. So I hope you had an opportunity over the past week to really think about all the concepts we covered and the insights that you gleaned, and especially those in terms of what were those 6 words that you hope people are using about you versus what's the feedback that or insights, if you like, that your cohort shared with you. What are the impressions that they're forming already? And how do we need to bring those two together? So, what do you need to stop doing, continue doing, and start doing? So, I hope you're well underway with that. The other key thing we looked at was what are those strategic relationships, if you like, that you need to be developing to further advance your career. So, mentors. Who are going to be your future mentors? And what steps have you taken to reach out to them? And likewise with your sponsors. So that could be existing sponsors or some new potential sponsors that you would like to have championing for you or advocating for you to create opportunities. It doesn't have to be a new role. It could just be a chance to shadow someone in a meeting or to get introductions or exposure to different parts of the Transdev business. So really think about who are those people that you need to catch up with for a coffee, even an online one, to educate them on what it is you've been working on and what your aspirations are going forward so that we can sort of create that gravitational pull, if you like, to that future career and aspirations that you have. So I hope you've had the time to do that. Plus, the other stretch was to start creating your professional bio document. So I shared mine with you. As I said, it's an example rather than a template. I want you to make yours your own. Bring your personality into it. Really share what it is that you've done, who you are as a person. So I look forward to seeing those being shared via our Teams group. So I promised you that I would also record a little video for you about your online presence. So we've spoken a lot about your personal presence and your executive presence. Your digital footprint or your online brand, if you like, is every bit as important as your personal presence or executive presence. Because, as they say, we never get a second chance to make a first impression. And in a lot of cases these days, people's first impression of you is actually online, namely your LinkedIn profile, right? So when they meet you, chances are they will have already had a look at you online and they're forming opinions of you based on your profile. So what I would love is that you really are deliberate about your profile and what is the perception that you would like it to be creating with people, so that when they then meet you in person, that's merely a confirmation of the perception that they've already been forming from your LinkedIn profile. So I want you to really think about your LinkedIn profile as your own personal website, right? It's your one-page website where you get to change it, you get to use it. LinkedIn is just a search engine. At the end of the day, it's a network and it is a social media platform, but it is also a search engine. So I want you thinking about using it in terms of keywords. What are the things that you want to be putting on there that will have people coming to you as a thought leader in a certain area? And this goes for everyone, even when you work within a business. You don't have to have your own business. So what I thought I would do, I'm just going to share my screen here, is I wanted to share the profile of a client of mine, Jody, and actually use hers to step you through LinkedIn. She has a great profile, and so I wanted to use this as a shining example, if you like. So we're just going to work from the top to the bottom, and I'm also going to share with you some other tips, some resources, so that you can further educate yourself on how to sort of polish or improve your own LinkedIn profile. First and foremost, the profile picture. So as you will see, Jody has shared a lovely profile picture here. It is approachable, it is professional, and really, if you think about a picture says 1,000 words, for you, think about what are those 1,000 words that you want your profile picture to be saying to the visitors to your personal website here on LinkedIn. I would say with your picture, make sure it is a professional picture. It doesn't have to be a professionally shot picture by a professional photographer, but something that is aligned with how people would come to know you in a professional world, because it's going to be professional people looking at your profile picture. So what I mean by that is, if that day when you went to the horse races, you were the hottest you've ever looked, and it might be your all-time favorite picture of yourself, if you would not wear a fascinator in the office, then you don't want to have a fascinator on your LinkedIn profile picture. So you get what I mean. So then the other thing, and this is sort of a nice to have, but this background picture here, again, if a picture is saying 1,000 words, why not use that? So you can see Jody obviously lives in Brisbane. That is the Story Bridge, I believe. But what is it that you could use as an image or a quote, for example, that will have people, again, getting to know who you are and what you stand for? Obviously, we have her name, we have her role, the role that you can put here. So she's put a lot of extra detail. I'm a fan of that. As we said, LinkedIn is a search engine, so why not have some extra information there that really tells people what you're all about? Coming down here to her about section. One of the things I like, many things about this, but one of the things I like about this is she's written it in first person language. I lead a sustainable business, because at the end of the day, we know you wrote it. So you may as well write it in first person language. If that feels a bit ick for you and like you're talking yourself up too much, what you could do is write it in third person language and get it all right. And then once you're happy with it, is then switch it and swap the she's and they's for I. So I really like this. The other thing I like about this is she tells a bit of a story rather than what I see some people do, which is kind of write their whole CV out and their job history in this area, when actually that's what we've got the experience section to be communicating. So this is really someone's come to your profile to get an understanding as to who you are, what makes you tick. So that's what we want to be telling them about here. As we come down to the experience section. So again, what I really like about what Jody's done here is for each role that she's had, you'll see she's just written a couple of sentences telling the reader, or the visitor, if you like, just a little snapshot as to what it is she does in that role, and specifically sort of what are the outcomes or what's the value that she's adding in that particular role. The other thing I like is that since she's been at Tees over those past nearly 6 years, she's had a number of different roles. So if you've been at Transdev for a while, make sure within that category of Transdev, or in her case Tees, that you're actually separating all the different roles you've had. Otherwise, it just looks like you've been in this one capacity for, say, 8 years. And then we go further down. Again, she's continued this theme throughout. She's got her education. She also has shared what her volunteer experience is. So you can imagine, again, people are coming here to learn about you. So why not put in any other volunteer experience or extracurricular experiences that you have done? Because again, it is sharing what sort of person you are and what you're interested in. Coming back to her profile, we also have the skills here. I'll show you something about skills actually on my profile, because I'll be able to edit it. And then down the very bottom here, we've got her interests. So who are the people that she follows? That could be companies, groups, and top voices or influencers, for example. So Jody has a great profile. So even if you just did that, that is fantastic. If we jump over to mine for a moment, and there's plenty that Jody's done way better than me, but one thing that I wanted to share with you, if we just come down, you can see all my different roles. I have actually put a couple of testimonial videos within mine. You may or may not have testimonial videos, but you might have things that you've been featured in. See up here, I've been on a number of podcasts and what have you. So if you have spoken on a panel, for example, you could add it to your featured section. Further down, we've got education. Here we go, licenses and certifications. So over the years, you have probably had some licenses that are outside of necessarily your qualifications, which I've got here, various certificates that you have gained. So make sure you're updating those here in this licenses and certification section. Skills. So this is what I was referring to earlier. So when we go into someone else's LinkedIn profile, generally it shows the top 2 or 3 skills that they have. So a little sneaky tip is you could end up with these skills that you didn't even acquire. It's just that other people have nominated those for you, if you like. So what you can do is in this skills section, if you go edit, you can actually move by using these little edit buttons, you can move the skills to be the top 3 that you want people seeing up the top. So you can actually change the order of these skills, if you like, so that those top 3 that you would like appear at the top. And then the final thing is recommendations. So as you know, we are a very peer-reviewed society. And what I mean by that is if you're wanting to go on a holiday, obviously we look at the glossy brochure, but we also go to TripAdvisor to see what other people have said. Or if we're going to a restaurant, we'll have a look at the peer-reviewed or Google starred restaurants first. This is your area to share with the world what it is that you've done right. So I would encourage you, if you haven't already naturally got some recommendations, reach out to a couple of key people and ask them if they would be happy to recommend you here on LinkedIn. Because again, people don't want to just hear what you say about yourself up in the about section. They want to actually read what others' experience of you has been. So there you go. I think that is, oh, and then obviously adding courses and what have you, but I think that is the main things that I wanted to share with you on all of that. I'll just stop sharing. So I hope that is helpful. As I say, I'm going to share a couple of other resources with you, both something that I've acquired from LinkedIn and another great podcast that I've watched recently from someone who is a LinkedIn expert. If you have any other questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. I love LinkedIn, but I really do think see this as your own website. And keep in mind that people are forming perceptions all the time. So there's no point saying, oh yeah, I created a LinkedIn profile years ago, but I haven't updated it and, I don't really care. The point is other people are still seeing that and they're forming perceptions from that. So I really do encourage you to take, I don't know, half an hour maximum to just polish your LinkedIn profile a little bit if you think it needs it. And keep in mind that professional bio exercise, there is method in my madness, because once you've written that, you'll be able to pull some of the information from that to use in the about section of your LinkedIn profile. So I hope that's helpful. Any questions, please ask. Otherwise, I look forward to connecting with you for our coaching session. All right, take care.